to Shakespeare in the Afternoon. I just coined that. We're gonna. My name is Stephen Vance. I am the technical director usually here at Alchemy Theatre. I also happen to be a part of West Virginia Shakes on the Road. If you guys do not know what you've gotten yourself in today, this is our reduced version of Hamlet that we take to schools. We've already performed for a couple, 300 students already. We have a big school. We'll go to Wayne on Tuesday, and that will wrap up the tour. This is the only public performance, so thank you guys for being here. We started this program a couple years ago with a reduced cast, reduced scripts, but one thing we do is we keep the text intact. What you're not going to see today is a bunch of dumbed down language. You're not going to see a comic book adaptation of Shakespeare. What you're going to see is Shakespeare's words, hopefully sometimes like he intended them. That is our goal. There's only 7 of us in the group, and if you've read Hamlet or are familiar with Hamlet, you realize there are a lot more characters than that in the show. The other thing that we're going to be doing that's a little bit unique to this production is each one of us get a chance to play Hamlet. So you're going to get to see Hamlet through 7 different people's eyes today, and through our actors' performances. Hopefully that theme works. Anytime you see this tie on any character throughout the show, that character is portraying Hamlet. There's going to be some other small costume changes throughout the show. I think you're going to do pretty well. The high school students have done well. One thing that we will do at the end of this production is we'll take a couple minutes and get your feedback before we go to our largest audience of the run. Like I mentioned, we're going to Wayne High School on Tuesday, and we will be performing for about 300 students in their gymnasium. So it's really important to us that it makes sense to you guys today. We couldn't do any of this without the West Virginia Humanities Council. They sponsor this program in part, and we're so happy that we're able to take this out every year, and we're going to continue to do it in the future. Thank you guys so much for being here. This show will run just under 2 hours with no intermission, because we don't get those when we go to school. So you're going to see it just like we perform it everywhere we go. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
I want to tell you a story. Welcome, gentle friends, to this most important gathering. You are here today to learn the tragical history of the noble and honorable Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. He was my friend. And I made a promise to carry on his legacy as best I can, to perhaps warn others of the dangers of jealousy, of hubris, of the trappings of the mind, and how even love and grief can harm when unchecked. And lo, now some 400 years after the events, Hamlet's story lives on. And from today forward, it will live on in you. Our story begins in Castle Elsinore in Denmark. Recent events in and around the castle had made the world even more hectic and volatile than previously. King Hamlet of Denmark, our Prince Hamlet's namesake, had defeated and killed King Fortinbras of Norway. He had captured the lands that Norway had claimed, and then Prince Fortinbras, also the namesake of his father, has now been gathering up an army in an attempt to reclaim those lands his father lost to King Hamlet. Therefore, Castle Elsinore was under heavy guard. However, during this time, King Hamlet took ill, seemingly overnight, from what doctors deemed a serpent's sting, though no serpent was ever found. And he suddenly died. His brother, Claudius, married King Hamlet's wife, Queen Gertrude, the mother of Prince Hamlet, and was crowned the new king of Denmark. The funeral and the wedding were within weeks of each other. During this time, several nights in a row, the guards on watch saw strange sights. They believed they saw a ghost. More importantly, the ghost of King Hamlet. Marcellus, one of the guards, brought me to the battlements to see the ghost with my own eyes. And as I have known the family well, what I saw would change the course of my life forever. And it would begin a harrowing journey into madness. We knew we must tell Prince Hamlet what we had seen, and we knew where he would be. The wedding feast for King Claudius and Queen Gertrude had just begun. And so we entered Castle Elsinore and joined the revelry.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that in us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, in our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we taken to wife, for all our thanks. Now follows that young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking by our late dear brother's death our state to be disjoint and out of frame, hath not failed to pester us with message importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father to our most valiant brother. So much for him.
While the news of Fortinbras continuing his marches toward Elsinore and vying to reclaim the lands that his dead father lost to King Hamlet was news that might have sullied either the funeral of King Hamlet or the wedding of Claudius and Gertrude, our new king, King Claudius, turned to smaller matters. Laertes, a friend to our Prince Hamlet, and brother to Hamlet's love, Ophelia, and son of Polonius, Claudius's most trusted advisor, had been waiting to speak to the new king. Laertes was leaving for France, and he and his father awaited the king's blessing to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes, time be thine, and thy best graces spend it at thy will. Now my cousin Hamlet, and my son.
A little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted color off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou know'st 'tis common, all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam? Nay, it is. I know not seems. I have that which in with passes show, these with the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these morning duties to your father. But you must know your father lost a father, and that father lost his. But to persever in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. Shows a will most incorrect to heaven. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think on us as of a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart toward you. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us, go not to Wittenberg.
I shall, in all my best, obey you.
Ah, why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart. Come away.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. Or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh God, God! How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seems to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it to fie! 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely, that it should come to this, but 2 months dead! Nay, not so much. not two. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth must I remember? Why, she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on. And yet within a month, let me not think on it, frailty, thy name is woman. A little month ere those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe, all tears. Was she, even she, oh God, a beast that once discourse of reason would have mourned longer. Married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing of her galled eyes, she married. Oh, most wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart! For I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
I'm glad to see you well. Horatio, or to forget myself.
The same, and your poor servant ever.
Sir, my good friend, what make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus?
My good lord.
I am very glad to see you, but what in faith make you from Wittenberg?
My lord, I come to see your father's funeral.
I prithee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
My lord, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth marriage tables. Would I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever had seen that day, Horatio! My father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
Oh, he was a goodly king.
Was a man. Take him for all in all, I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, methinks I saw him yesternight.
Saul? Who?
My lord, the king, your father.
The king, my father?
Season your admiration a while, whilst I bear the witness of this gentleman, this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights had this gentleman, Marcellus, been on his watch, in the dead vast and middle of the night, been thus encountered. Twice had the image of your father, the very visage, appeared to him, and his fear, surprised eyes like jelly instilled in him, and stood dumb and could not speak. He stood solemnly and marched slow and steady by him, and so, with this dread secrecy, did he inform me, and so on the 3rd night, I joined him on the watch, and just as he had delivered, in time and form of the thing, the apparition appeared. My lord, I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
But where was this?
My lord, upon the platform where we watch.
Did you not speak to it?
I did, my lord, but it did not speak. Although at once it did lift its head as if it were to speak, but even then the morning cock crew loud and it shrunk away and vanished from our sight.
This is very strange.
My lord, I swear it on my life. And we did think it writ that you should know of it.
I will watch tonight. Perchance 'twill walk again. If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it, though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. And whatsoever else shall hap tonight, give it an understanding, but no tongue. I will requite your loves, so fare you well. Upon the platform, twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty to your honor.
My father's spirit in arms? All is not well. I doubt some foul play. Would the night were come! Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes.
Elsewhere in the castle, in the housings of Polonius and his family, Laertes is offering his goodbyes to his dear sister, Ophelia.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And sister, as winds give benefit and convoy as assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet, and the trifling of his favor, hold it a fashion, and a toy in blood, a violence in the youth of primary nature, forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more.
No more, but so?
No, think it no more. Perhaps he loves you now, but you must fear his greatness weighed, his will is not his own. For he himself is subject to his birth, therefore fear it, Ophelia. Fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection out of the shot and danger of desire. Be wary then, best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near.
I shall, the effect of this good lesson, keep as watchman to my heart. But, good my brother, do not, as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whiles like a puffed and reckless libertine, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads, and recks not his own reed.
Ah, fear me not. I stay too long. Here my father comes. Double blessing is a double grace. Occasion smiles upon a second leave.
Yet here there it is. Aboard for shame. Here, my blessings with thee. And these few precepts in thy memory, look thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought is apt. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but being in it, that the opposed may beware of thee. Give every man thine ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy. Rich, not gaudy, for the apparel oft proclaims the man. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend. This, above all, to thine own self be true. It must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell. My blessing season this in thee.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord. Farewell, Ophelia. Remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
What is it, Ophelia, he hath said to you?
So please you, something touching the Lord Hamlet.
'Tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you. What is it between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Tenders! Ah! Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
Oh, Mary, I shall teach you.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love in honorable fashion,
Fashion, you may call it. Go to, go to.
and hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Aye, do I know how when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. I would not, in plain terms, from this moment forth have thee so slander any moment's leisure as to give words or talk with the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you. Come your ways.
Shall obey, my lord.
For our sakes, and for the sake of Hamlet, we return to the battlements of the castle, in hopes that the prince might also see the walking ghost of his father. The air was cold again, and the night drew on.
The air bites shrewdly. It is very cold. What hour now?
It is not yet 12.
No, it is struck.
Did it? I heard it not. And then, my lord, we are close to the hour when the spirit is wont to walk. Look, my lord. It comes.
Angels and ministers of grace, defend us. Be thou a spirit of health or goblin damned. Bring with thee heirs from heaven or blast from hell. Be thy intents wicked or charitable, thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, King, Father, Royal Dane. Oh, answer me! Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, hearsed in death, have burst their cerements. Why the sepulchre wherein we saw thee quietly inurned hath oped his ponderous and marble jaws to cast thee up again. What may this mean? That thou, dead corse again in complete steel, revisits thus the glimpses of the moon, making night hideous, and we fools of nature so horridly to shake our disposition with thoughts beyond the reaches of our souls. Say, why is this? Wherefore? What should we do?
Do not go with it.
No, by no means, no.
It will not speak, then will I follow it? What should be the fear? I do not set my life at a pen's fee, and for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? It weighs me forth again, I'll follow it.
What if it leads you to the flood or to the dread summit of a cliff?
Go on, I'll follow thee.
You shall not go, my lord.
Hold off your hands!
Be ruled, you shall not go.
Unhand me, gentlemen, by heaven, I'll make the ghost of him that lets me I stay away! Go on, I'll follow thee.
Something's rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, let's follow him.
Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak, I'll go no further.
Mark me.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou dost hear?
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain time to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast in fires till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. If thou didst ever thy dear father love,
Oh God!
revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but in this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I, with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love, may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee apt. Now, Hamlet here, 'tis given out that sleeping in my orchard a serpent stung me. Thus is the whole ear of Denmark by a forged process of my death rankly abused. Know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul. My uncle?
Aye, sought. Methinks I sent the morning air. Brief let me be. Sleeping in my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hebena in a vial, and into the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, and swift as quicksilver it courses through the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossom of my sin. No reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my perfections on my head. Horrible, horrible, most horrible. If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. Howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, to the thorns which in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Farewell at once. Adieu, adieu, remember me.
Oh, all you host of heaven, oh earth, what else? And shall I couple hell? Hold my heart. Remember thee. I, thou poor ghost, thy commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven, O most pernicious woman, O villain, smiling, damned villain! Neat it is I set it down that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is. Adieu. Adieu. Remember me. I have sworn.
Lord Hamlet!
Lord Hamlet! Hamlet secured. Well, what news, my lord?
There's ne'er a villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an errant knave.
My lord, we need no ghost come from the grave to tell us this.
Why, right? You are in the right. Touching this vision here, it is an honest ghost, let me tell you. And now, good friends, as your friends, scholars, and soldiers, give me one poor request.
What is it, my lord? We will.
Never to speak of this that you have seen. Come hither, gentlemen, and lay your hands again upon my sword. Never to speak of this that you have heard. Swear by my sword.
Swear by his sword.
Days and nights, this is wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. But come, here as before, never, so help you mercy, how strange or odd soe'er I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet, to put an antic disposition on, that you, at such time seeing me, never shall, to note that you know aught of me. This do swear, so grace and mercy are your most need help you.
Swear.
We swear.
Rest, perturbed spirit. So, gentlemen, with all my love I do commend me to you, and what so poor a man as Hamlet is may do to express his love and good friending, God willing shall not lack. Let us go in together and still your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite that ever I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let's go together.
And now we find Polonius in the secluded halls of the castle, talking heatedly to an attendant. What seems innocent at first turns otherwise, as Polonius pays the man to spy on his son, Laertes, while Laertes is away in France. They strike an accord, and the attendant leaves to do Polonius' secret bidding. Prince Hamlet had already begun showing his antic disposition almost immediately. It did not take long for others around the castle grounds to notice it. Ophelia, of course, was the first, and she came to her father, Polonius, for guidance.
Oh,
Now, Ophelia, what's the matter?
oh, my lord, I've been so affrighted.
With what, in the name of God?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all unbraced, no hat upon his head, pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous in purport, as if he had been loosed out of hell, to speak of horrors. He comes before me.
Oh, mad for thy love.
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
Oh, what said he?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard. Then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow, he falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so, at last a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head waving up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound, as did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and with his head o'er his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes. For out of doors he went without their helps, and to the last bended their light on me.
Seek the king, this is the very ecstasy of love. What, have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repel his letters and deny his access to me.
That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I have not quoted him. I thought he did but trifle and meant to rack thee, but beshrew my jealousy, come. Go to the king, this must be known, which being kept close might cause more grief to hide than hate to utter love. Come.
The word of Hamlet's antic disposition had spread quickly through the halls of Castle Elsinore, and in the throne room, Queen Gertrude worried about her dear son Hamlet, but King Claudius had already begun to take steps to keep an eye on his stepson by enlisting the aid of two of Hamlet's friends from school at Wittenberg, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation, so I call it. More than his father's death that thus hath put him so much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream of. I entreat you both, being of so young days brought up with him, and sith so neighbor to his youth and behavior, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our courts some little time, and to gather so much as from occasion you may glean, whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus, that open lies within our remedy.
Good gentlemen, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am 2 men there are not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us for a while for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have of us, put more of your dread pleasures into command than into
But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent to lay our service freely at your feet, to be commanded.
Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern.
Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz, and I do beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son.
As Rosencrantz and Guildenstern went to find Hamlet, Polonius arrived in the throne room to tell the king and queen about his conversation with Ophelia.
Thou still hast been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? I do believe that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that do I long to hear. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, he hath found the head and source of all your son's distemper.
I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death and our o'er-hasty marriage.
Well, we shall sift him.
My liege, madam, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Thy noble son is mad.
More matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art at all. Mad, let us grant him then. And now remains that we find the cause of this effect. Well, this effect defective comes by cause. I have a daughter, well, she is mine, who, in her duty and obedience, Mark, hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. In thy most excellent white bosom, doubt thou the stars are fire, doubt thou the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh, dear Ophelia, I have not aught to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best, oh, most best, believe. Thine evermore, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet.
But how hath she received his love?
My precepts gave her that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens. This being done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he, repulsed, fell into a sadness, thence into a fast, thence to a weakness, thence into a watch, and into a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein he now raves, and all we mourn for.
You think 'tis this?
It may be, very like.
Hath there been a time, I would fain know that I have positively said 'tis so, when it proved otherwise?
Not that I know. How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks for hours together here in the lobby.
So he does indeed.
At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to it. Be you and I behind an arras then. Mark the encounter. If he love her not, and he be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant for a state, but keep a farm and cart it.
Well, we shall try it.
But look, where sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
Away, I do beseech you, both away. I'll board him presently. Give me leave. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God of mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent. Well, you are a fishmonger.
Well, not I, my lord.
Then I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord.
I suffer full For to be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my lord.
Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but not as your daughter may conceive. Friend, look to it.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter? Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He's far gone, and I'll speak to him again. My lord, what is it that you read, my lord?
Words, words, words.
Well, what is the matter, my lord?
Oh, between who?
I mean the matter that you read, my lord.
Oh, slander, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have grey beards, that their faces are wrinkled, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit. I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down, for you yourself, sir, should be as old as I am. If like a crab, you could go backward.
This be madness. There is method in it. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
Into my grave?
Indeed, that is out of the air. Pregnant, sometimes his replies are a happiness. Sometimes madness hits on it. I'll leave him and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. My lord, I most humbly take my leave of you.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I would more willingly part withal. Except my life. Except my life. Except my life.
Fare you well, my lord.
These tedious old fools.
You go to seek the Lord Hamlet. There he is.
My honored lord,
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends. How dost thou, Guildenstern Rosencrantz? Good lads, how do you both?
As indifferent children of the earth.
happy in that we are not over happy. On Fortune's cap, we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoes.
Neither, my lord.
Oh, then you live about her waist, in the middle of her favors?
Hey, her private suite.
The secret parts of Fortune, most true. She is a strumpet. What news?
None, except the world has grown honest.
Then is doomsday near. Your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of Fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord?
Denmark is a prison.
Then the world is one?
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
Think not so, my lord.
Then 'tis none for you, for there is nothing either good nor bad, but thinking makes it so to me. It is a prison.
Then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space. Not that I have bad dreams. Shall we to the court? By my fay, I cannot reason.
We'll wait upon you.
No such matter. I will not sort you with the rest of my servants, but in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord. On other occasion?
Beggar that I am even poor in thanks, but I thank you. Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come. Nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Why, anything but to the purpose you were sent for. There's a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
But you must teach me.
But let me conjure you, by the rights of our fellowship, but by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, deal even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
What say
If you love me, hold not up.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercise, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, it seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave, o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire, it appeareth no other thing to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty and form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel; in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. Yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, nor woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there were no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me?
To think, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the player shall have of you. We quoted them on the way to the city, and hither they come to offer you service.
He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute to me. What players are they?
Only the ones you were wont to take such delight in, the tragedians of the city.
Gentlemen, you are welcome at Elsinore. Give me your hands. There. You are welcome. But my uncle father and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my dear lord?
I am but mad northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Well, be with you, gentlemen.
I will prophesy he comes to tell me of the players. Mark it.
My lord, I have news to tell you.
My lord, I have news to tell you.
The actors are come hither, my lord.
Oh, buzz.
As Hamlet continued to jest and jibe with Polonius, driving home his desire to seem crazed, the players of the acting troupe that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern had met on the road and told Hamlet about arrived. The first player, their de facto leader, introduced the group to Hamlet, who had seen their performances in the city many times throughout his youth.
You are welcome, master. I'm glad to see you well. My old friend. Your face. It's valid since last I saw you. We'll have a speech, straight. Oh, come, give us a taste of your quality. Come. A passionate speech.
Out, thou strumpet fortune. Run barefoot out, and for a robe about her lank and all o'er-teemed loins, a blanket in the alarm of fear caught up. But if the gods themselves had seen her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made. Lest things mortal move them not at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven. Passion in the gods.
Look, for he's not turned his colour and has tears in his eyes, and prithee no more.
Tis well, we'll hear thee speak out the rest of this soon. Good my lord, will you see the players well bestowed? Dost thou hear me? Let them be well used. Take them in.
Come, sirs.
Follow him, friends. We'll hear play tomorrow. Dost thou hear me, my old friend? Can you play The Murder of Gonzago?
Aye, my lord.
We'll hear it tomorrow. You could, for a need, study a speech of some 12 or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert in it, could you not?
Aye, my lord.
Very well. Follow that lord. Look you mock him not. Now I am alone. What a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage wan, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole functioning suiting with forms to his conceit? And all for nothing? What would he do had he the motive and cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears, cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty, appall the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears, and yet I say nothing. No, not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain? Breaks my painted cross, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, tweaks my nose. Who does this? Nay, it cannot be, but I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter. Or ere this, I should have fatted all the reaching kites with this slave's awful bloody body villain. Remorseless, lecherous, treacherous villain! What an ass am I. This is most brave, but I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must, like a whore, unpack my heart with words and fall a cursing like a very drab stallion. I upon it full about my brain. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting in a play have, by the very cunning of the scene, been struck so to the soul that presently they proclaimed all their malefactions. For murder, they would have no tongue and will speak the most miraculous word. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before my uncle. I'll observe his looks, attentive to the quick. If he do blench, I know my course. The spirit I have seen may be a devil. The devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. And perhaps out of my weakness and melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
And so it went that the spies hired to keep watch on Hamlet, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern made their first report to King Claudius, Queen Gertrude, and Polonius in the throne room. There they told them that while Hamlet seemed distracted and aloof, he did not seem crazed. They mentioned Hamlet being excited that the theater troupe had arrived and that he was looking forward to the play and wanted the king and queen to attend. This pleased Claudius and Gertrude. And then afterward, the king hatched another plot.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us two, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may hear a front of you. The father and myself will so bestow ourselves that, seen unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by him as he is behaved, be the affliction of his love, or know that thus he suffers.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again. To both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Well, I hear him coming. So wait, my lord.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To die, to sleep, no more. And by sleep we mean end the heartache, 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, to sleep, perchance to dream. There's the rub. For in this sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this immortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time? The oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, the spurns of the patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself could his quietus make with a bare bodkin. Would these fardels bear to grunt and sweat over a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country, from who is born no man returns? Puzzles the will. Thus, we bear those ills we have, rather than fly to those that we know not of. Thus, conscience doth make cowards of us all. So the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought. The enterprises of great pith and moment. In this regard, their currents turn awry, and we lose the name of action. Goes here. Fair Ophelia. Nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
My lord, how does your honor this many a day?
I thank thee. Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
Not I never gave you on.
Honored lord, you know right well you did, and with them words so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich. Their perfume lost, take them again. For to the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest? Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, then honesty can hold no discourse to your beauty.
Beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly. You see, it is easier for beauty to transform honesty from what it is to a bawd than for honesty to transform beauty into his likeness. This was once a paradox, but now time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I myself am indifferent, honest, with so many faults that it should be better that my mother had never borne me. I am proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should a fellow such as I, crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves all. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Shh. Where is your father?
At home, my lord.
Well, then let him close the doors and play the fool only in his own house. If thou should marry, I give thee this plague for your dowry. Be you as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Get thee to a nunnery. Go. And if you needs must marry a fool. For a wise man knows what monsters you make of them. Go thy ways to a nunnery, and quickly too. Farewell.
When a noble mind is here o'erthrown, and I, ladies most deject and wretched, who sucked the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells, jangle out of tune and harsh. Woe is me to have seen what I have seen.
Love. His affections do not that way tend, nor what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There is something in his soul o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger. Which for to prevent, I having quick determination thus set it down, he shall with speed to England for the demand of our neglected tribute. What think you on it?
It shall do well. Yet do I believe the origin and commencement of his neglected love, his grief hath sprung from neglected love. How now? Here. You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please. But if you hold it fit, after the play, let his queen mother entreat him all alone to show his grief. And let her be round with him. And I'll be placed, so please you, within the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, then to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness and great ones must not unwatched go.
And so, with Hamlet's madness on display, true or false, we move forward to when the players of the acting troupe are preparing for their production at the castle. Hamlet took this opportunity to speak once again to the first player before the show began.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounce it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of our players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. No, do not saw the air too much with your hand thus, but use all gently, for it the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire, beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. Bends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwig pated fellow tear passionate tatters. The very rags that out there is haired. Pray you avoid it.
I warrant your honor.
Be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, whose ended the first and now was and is to hold. As 'twere the mirror up to nature. Oh, there be players I have seen play and heard others praise that so bellowed and strutted that I would have thought some of nature's journeymen had made them. Not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably.
I hope we have reformed that indifferently within us, sir.
Reform it altogether. Go make you ready. What ho! Directs you.
Here, my lord, at your service.
Give me that man that is not passion's slave. And I'll wear him in my heart's core. My heart of heart, as I do thee. Something too much of this. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest that act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe my uncle. For I called it guilt, not self and kennel and one speech. It is a damned ghost that we have seen. My imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's smith. Give him heedful note, for I and mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in the censure of the sea.
Well, my lord, if he steal aught whilst the play is playing and escape detecting, I'll pay the theft. Suddenly, the trumpet sounded, and the royal family arrived to see the play. Claudius and Gertrude sat near us, making it very easy for us to watch their reactions to this play that Hamlet had devised to mirror how Claudius had killed his father. As the room quieted, a few of the torches were snuffed to dim the lighting, and the play began. A king and a queen entered.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Yeah, but she'll keep her word.
What do you call the play?
Oh, the Mousetrap. This play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the Duke's name, his wife Baptista. You shall see it on. It is a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your Majesty and we that have free souls, it touches us not. Let the galled jade wince. Our withers are unwrung. Oh, this is Lucianus. Come, the croaking raven that bellow for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit and time agreeing, Confederate season else no creature seeing. Thy mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, of Hecate's band, thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property, unwholesome life usurp immediately.
He poisons him in the garden for his estate. His name is Gonzago. The story is extant and written in very choicest time. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife. What? Frighted by false fire.
How fares my lord?
Give me some light.
Away!
Lights! Lights!
Give me some light!
Lights!
Away!
Good Horatio. I'll take the ghost word for £1,000. This proceed.
I did well note him.
On the talk of the poison.
I did very well note him. And then, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern returned with news about the king, telling us that he was marvelous distempered. It seemed that Hamlet's plan to shake up Claudius was working. They also told him that his mother was requesting to come to see her. This reminded Hamlet of their treachery again.
My mother, you say?
She desires to speak with you ere you go to bed.
We shall obey were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
And do still.
Good my lord, what is the cause of your distemper? Surely you bar the door on your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Record. Let's see. To withdraw with you. How do you go about to recover the wind of me? As if you would drive me into a toilet?
Lord, if my duty be so bold, my love be too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
Lord, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
It is as easy as lying. Govern these vintages with your fingers and thumbs. Give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you. These are the stops.
These I can command to no utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now. How unworthy a thing you would make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ, yet cannot you make it speak. What? Do you think I'm easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me. You cannot play upon me. I come to my mother by and by. Leave me. Friends. It's now the very witching time of night. Churchyard yawn and hell itself breathes contagion in this way. Now I could drink hot blood and do such bitter business that the day would quake to look. Soft now to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let me be cruel, but not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, and use none.
In another room of the castle, King Claudius, now fearing what Hamlet might know, finalized his plans to send Hamlet away from Denmark to England. And knowing Hamlet would soon be seeing his mother while Polonius watched them from a hidden place, he took a moment to center himself, and then, kneeling, began to pray. What he didn't know was that Hamlet had already arrived to meet his mother.
My offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it, a brother's murder. Pray can I not? My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. Is there not rain enough in sweet heaven to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? But then I'll look up. My offense is past. Oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder. That cannot be. I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, my own ambition, my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? What then? What rests? Well, try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state. Help, angels! Bow stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All will be well.
Now I might do it, Pat. Now he is praying. Now I'll do it. So he goes to heaven, and so am I revenged. Now to be scanned. A villain kills my father. For that I, his sole son, do send this same villain to heaven. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. Absurd. And know thou more horrid him. And he is drunk, asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed. Then trip, that his heels may kick at heaven, and his soul may be as black and damned as the hell into where it goes. My mother states, this physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
The words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
In Queen Gertrude's room, Polonius met with her before Hamlet's arrival.
He will come straight. Look you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screamed and stood between much heat and him. I'll silence me even here. Pray you be round.
I'll warrant you, fear me not. Withdraw. I hear him coming.
How now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you, my father, have much offended.
Come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you answer with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgotten me?
No, by the rood, no, you are the queen. You are your husband's brother's wife. And were it not so, you are my mother.
Nay, I'll set those to thee that can speak.
Nay, sit you down, and you shall not budge until I set forth a glass, so that you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help, ho!
What? Ho? Help!
Now, a rat, dead for a ducat, dead!
And slay?
What hast thou done?
I know none. Is it the king?
What a rash and bloody deed is this?
Deed almost as bad, dear mother, as to kill a king and marry his brother.
Kill a king?
Aye, that was my word. Oh, thou wretched, rash, and intruding fool. Farewell. I took you for your better. Here. Take thy fortune. Oh, mother, leave the wringing of your hands. Sit you down and let me wring your heart.
What have I done, that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
An act, mother, that blurs the grace and blush of modesty. Look you here. Look you here on this picture. A counterfeit presentment of two brothers. Look you here. What a grace sits upon this brow. This was your husband. And now, look what follows. Look here. Here is your husband. Like a mildewed ear, blasts his wholesome brother. Have you no eyes? Oh, for shame. Where is your blush? For there is no shame than reason panders will.
Hamlet, speak no more.
Yet to sweat and grunt in an inseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
These words like daggers enter in my...
He is a murderer and a villain. and a cut purse of the empire and the rule.
No more!
King of shreds and patches. Oh, save me! And cover me with your wings, you heavenly guards! What does this figure?
Alas, he is mad.
Do you not come to chide your tardy son, who is lost in time and passion against your dread commands? Oh, say!
Do not forget, this visitation serves but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. What amazement on thy dear mother sits. Step between her and her fighting soul. Speak to her, Hamlet!
How is't with you, lady?
Alas, how is't with you? That you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse, gentle son. Whereon do you look?
On him. On him. See how pale he glares.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all, yet all that is I see.
Do you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Look you now. Look how he goes. My father. Oh, in the habit as he lived. Look now. Even now as he goes through the portal.
This is the very coinage of your brain.
It is not madness that I utter. Good mother, for heaven's sake, lay not this flattering unction on your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent for what is past. Avoid what is to come. And do not spread compost on the weeds to make them rancor.
Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Well, then toss it away and keep the purer with the other half. So good night. But do not to my uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. And as for this gentleman, I will bestow him as the heavens have seen forth to punish me with this. I will answer well the death that I have given him. Good night, mother. I must be cruel only to be kind. For what is bad begins is only worse behind. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Not this. By no means. Let the bloat king tempt you to his bed. Pinch wanton on your cheeks. Call you his mouse. Or with reachy kisses and paddling on your neck with his damned fingers, let you revel out that I am not in madness, but mad in craft.
Be thou assured. If words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
I must to England. You know that.
The like I had forgotten. 'Tis so concluded on.
There are letters concealed. My schoolfellows, whom I trust as adders fanged, they must marshal me to this knavery. Let it work. For it is a sport to have the engineer hoist of his own petard. This man shall set me packing. I'll lug the guts into the neighbor room. So good night, Mother. This counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who was in life a foolish prating knave. Come, sir. There'll be an end on you. Good night, Mother. Queen Gertrude, visibly and understandably upset, then went to report what had happened to King Claudius. Claudius, dismayed, sent Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to find Hamlet. They quickly found him, but the prince would not tell them where he had hidden Polonius's body. Hamlet knew then that the two of them were working with Claudius, and told them as much. And instead of taking them to Polonius's body, he allowed them to take him to King Claudius.
How now? What hath befallen?
Where the body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from here.
Now, Hamlet, where is Polonius?
At supper.
At supper where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms is eaten at him. Our worm is our only emperor for diet. We fatten all creatures else to fat us, and we fatten ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar, but variable service. 2 dishes, 1 table. That's the end. A man may fish with a worm who has eat of a king, and eat of a fish that is fed of that worm.
What dost thou mean by this?
Nothing, except to tell you how a king may go a progress to the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven, sent thither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. Indeed, if you find him not within a month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Go seek him there.
Oh, he shall stay until you come.
Hamlet, this deed for thine especial safety must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. Everything is bent for England.
For England?
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So is it that thou knewest our purposes?
I see a cherub that sees them. But come, for England. Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Mother and father is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh. Therefore, my mother. But come, for England.
Follow him at foot. Send him with speed aboard, delay it not. I'll have him hence tonight. Away! And England, if my love thou hold'st it not, thou mayest not coldly set our sovereign process. By letters congruent to that effect, the present death of Hamlet. Duity. That like the hectic in my blood, he rages, and thou must cure me. Till I know 'tis done. However, mayhaps my joys will never begin.
Later, as Rosencrantz, Guildenstern, and Hamlet left the castle to find their ship to England, Hamlet noticed encampments near the shore. Before getting on the boat, Hamlet asked the captain whose camps they were. Well, the nephew to old Norway, Fortinbras, was his reply. With all that had been happening the last few days, he had forgotten that Fortinbras was attempting to reclaim the lands that Hamlet's father had taken from Fortinbras's father after his defeat and death on the battlefield. Time was now of the essence, and the final part of Hamlet's plan was about to begin.
Will it please you to go, my lord?
I'll be with thee straight. Go a little before. How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man, if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed? A beast. No more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fuss in us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event, a thought which quartered hath but 1 part wisdom and ever 3 parts coward, I do not know why yet I live to say this thing's to do. Sith, I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, led by a delicate and tender prince, whose spirit with divine ambition puffed, makes mouths at the invisible event, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. Rightly, to be great is not to stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honor's at the stake. How stand I, that have a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep? While to my shame, I see the imminent death of 20,000 men, that for a fantasy and a trick of fame go to their graves like beds. Fight for a plot whereon the numbers cannot try the cause, which is not tomb enough and continent to hide the slain. From this time forth, my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth.
Several days passed when I finally decided to take it upon myself to speak to King Claudius and Queen Gertrude about Ophelia. Upon hearing of her father's death, her brother gone away to France, Hamlet's antic disposition, and now sudden sailing to England, I was worried for her safety and for her very mind. I had hoped that the Queen might help console her, keep her well.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
How now, Ophelia?
He is dead and gone. At his head a grass-green turf, at his heels a stone.
How do you, pretty lady?
Well, God gild you. They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, but know not who we may be. God be at your table.
And seat upon her father.
Quoth she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. He answers, so would I have done by yonder sun, and thou hadst not come to my bed.
How long has she been thus?
I hope all will be well. We must be patient. but I cannot choose but weep to think they would lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it, and so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night.
This is the poison of deep grief. It all springs from her father's death. Now behold, Gertrude. Gertrude, when sorrows come, they come not single spies, but in battalions.
Where is he?
Alack, what noise is this?
What's the matter?
Save yourself, my lord. Young Laertes in a riotous head bears your offices.
Where is this king? Oh, vile king, give me my father!
Calm, my good
That
Laertes!
drop of blood me is calm, proclaims me bastard!
What's the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him!
I let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I will not be juggled with. To hell allegiance!
I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensibly in grief for it.
Oh no. What noise is this? Oh, Rose maid. Oh, dear maid. Kind sister, sweet Ophelia.
They bore him barefaced on the bier, and in his grave rained many a tear. Fare you well, my dove.
That's why Whitson did persuade revenge. It could not move thus.
You must sing. A down, we call him a downer. There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. I pray you, love, remember. There's a pansy. That's for thoughts.
Documented madness. Thoughts and remembrances fitted.
There's fennel for you, and columbines. Here's rue for you, and here's some for me. We may call it herb of grace of Sundays. Oh, you must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you violets, but they withered. All. When my father died. They say he made a good end. For bonny sweet Robin is all my joy, all my joy, all my joy.
Thoughts, affliction, passion, hell itself, she turns to favors and prettiness.
And will he not come again? And will he not come again? No, no, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed. He never will come again. He is gone. He is gone. And we cast away moan. God, a mercy on his soul. And of all Christian souls, I pray God. God by you.
Do you see this, oh God?
Laertes, I must commune with your grief where you deny me right. Do you contend to leave us your patience, and we will justly work together with your soil to give it due content.
It shall be done.
And where the offense is, let the great axe fall. Come, go with me.
Later that evening, I was pulled aside by a sailor, a seafaring man that said he had several letters for me from the ambassador to England, under which name Prince Hamlet was traveling. A few of the letters were meant for others, but one was addressed specifically to me. This was that letter, word for word. Horatio, when thou shalt have overlooked this, give these fellows some means to the king. They have letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate, a very warlike appointment, gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple, I boarded them. And on the instant, they got clear of our ship. So I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy, but they knew what they did. I am to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in thine ear that will make thee dumb. Yet are they much too light for the bore of the matter. These good fellows will bring thee where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of course, I have much to tell thee of them. Farewell. He that thou knowest thine. Hamlet. This news was sudden and shocking. Hamlet was still here, in Denmark. I gave them leave to deliver the other letters, and then directed them to take me to where Hamlet was waiting for me. I truly hoped that my friend knew what he was doing. None of this took away my worry, only added to it. While I journeyed to meet Hamlet, Claudius told Laertes of how Hamlet killed his father. He explained to him that he had sent Hamlet away instead of harming him for his mother's sake, and to prevent an uprising of the people of Denmark for the well-loved prince. As they were talking, the messenger I had sent with their letters arrived. The letters informed Claudius that Hamlet was back in Denmark and was coming to the castle to see him. Claudius, fearing for his life, used this as an opportunity to bend Laertes for his bidding. Claudius devised a plan to allow Laertes to get his revenge on Hamlet. He would have the two engage in a friendly duel, but it would not be friendly at all. Laertes would poison his sword with a liquid so lethal that with even a scratch, it would kill. And Claudius, as a contingency plan, if all else failed, would poison a cup filled with wine and give it to Hamlet to drink. Upon agreeing to this evil treachery, they were suddenly interrupted by Queen Gertrude crying and bringing even more terrible news.
One woe doth tread upon another's feet, so fast they fall. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Where?
There's a willow grows aslant a brook. There with fantastic garlands did she make of cornflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples. When down her weedy trophies in herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide and mermaid-like a while they bore her up. But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, so she is drowned?
Drowned!
Too much water hast thou, Ophelia, therefore I forbid my tears. Adieu, my lord. I had a speech of fire. Fain would blaze, but this folly drowned it.
Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now I fear this will get us started again, so therefore let's follow.
The next day, I met Hamlet in the graveyard near the church. It had been a long journey back across Denmark from the sea, but it was good to see my friend again. As we walked, we came across a gravedigger doing his work in the morning sun. The gravedigger was singing to himself as he worked, and Prince Hamlet marveled at how someone with such a presumably serious job could be so jovial. He was determined to speak with him, and in retrospect, I wish he hadn't.
Whose grave's this, sir?
Mine, sir. Oh, a bit of clay for to be made for such a guest as meet.
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman then?
For none neither.
Who is to lie in it?
One that was a woman, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. We must speak by the card or equivocation will undo us. How long has I been a grave maker?
Of all the days in the year, I came to it the day that our last king, Hamlet, overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent to England.
Aye, Mary, why was he sent into England?
Why? Because he was mad.
How came he mad?
Faith, he was losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
Faith, if he be not rotten afore he die, as we have many potty corpses nowadays, that'll scarce hold the laying in. It'll last you some 8 or 9 year. Tanner'll last you 9 year. Here's a skull now, sir. This skull hath lain you in the earth 23 year.
Whose was it?
The same skull as Yorick's skull, King's Jester.
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest. Most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times. Yet how bored in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips I have kissed I know not how often. Where are your jibes now, old man? Your gambols? Your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning? Quite a chapfallen. Now, get you to my lady's chamber and tell her, let her paint an inch thick. This favor she must come. Make her laugh at that. Ready, Horatio. Tell me one thing. What is, my lord? The dust is earth. Of earth we make loam. And why of that loam, where he was converted, might we not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Aside, here comes the king. Aside.
It was then that a funeral procession came to the gravesite of which we had glibly joked. The king, Queen Gertrude, Laertes, all with them. We still didn't know whose grave we had come upon, so we hid ourselves away.
Queen, the courtiers, who's this they follow with such maimed rite? Was of some estate. Couch away while and mark.
What ceremony else?
That's Laertes, a very noble youth. Mark.
Lay her in the earth, and may from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell you, ministering angel may my sister be.
What? The fair Ophelia.
Sweets to the sweet, farewell. I hoped thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, and not have strewed thy grave.
Hold off the earth a while, till I've caught her in my arms once again. Now put all your dust upon the quick and the dead.
Who is this whose grief bears such an emphasis? Whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wonder-wounded hearers? This is I, Hamlet the Dane!
Devil take thy soul!
Take off my hand!
Pluck him asunder!
Hamlet!
Quiet, my lord!
I will fight him upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag!
Oh, my son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers with all their quantity of love could not make up my sum. What wouldst thou do for her?
Yes, madly, Laertes.
For the love of God, forbear him. This is mere madness.
Hear you, sir. What is the reason you use me thus? I loved you ever. 'Tis no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and dog will have his day.
Strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. Matter we will put to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument.
When Hamlet and I returned to Castle Elsinore, Hamlet told me of his sea voyage before they were beset by pirates. He had found the commission that King Claudius had given to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. The commission that said that as an ambassador to England, Hamlet's life was being traded as a peace accord. In plain facts, it said that Hamlet would be killed while in England. I couldn't believe my ears, though it should never have surprised me. King Claudius, Hamlet's uncle, who had already murdered Hamlet's father, had plotted to have Prince Hamlet killed too.
So much for that, sir. Now shall you see the other? You do remember all the circumstance?
Remember it, my lord, but what a king is this?
Does it not? Thanks thee. Stand me now upon. He that hath killed my father, whored my mother, popped in between the election and my hopes, thrown out his angle for my proper life. Is it not perfect conscience to quit him with this arm?
It must be shortly known to him from England what is the issue of the business there.
It will be short. I am sorry. Good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot my son. I'll court his favors. Show the bravery of his grief put me into a towering passion.
We were then interrupted by one of the king's courtiers, a man known as Osric, and trusted by the king.
Sweet lord, his majesty bade me signify to you that he hath laid a great wager on your head. Sir, here is newly come to court, Laertes. The king, sir, hath laid that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. It would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
Let the foils be brought. I'll win for him if I can. If I can't, then I'll gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits. His fitness speaks, mine is ready.
I commend my duty to your lordship. The king and queen and all are coming down.
In happy time.
You will lose, my lord.
Do not think so. Since he has been into France, I've been in continual practice. I'll win at the odds. Thou wouldst not know how ill all's here about my heart. It's no matter.
If your mind dislikes anything, I will for still repair and hither say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. It's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, it is not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it not be now, yet it will come. But the readiness is all. Let be.
Come, Hamlet. Come, take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir, for I have done you wrong, but pardoned as you are a gentleman. Now this presence knows, and you must needs have heard how I am met with sore distraction.
what I have done that might your honor, nature, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Is it Hamlet wronged Laertes? Never Hamlet. Who does it then? His madness. If that be so, then his madness is poor Hamlet's enemy. I have shot my arrow over the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature, but in terms of my honor, I stand aloof. I do receive your offered love like love, and shall not wrong it.
I embrace it freely. Will this brother's wager frankly play? Bring us the foils!
Give them the foils, young Osric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager.
Very well, my lord. Your Grace hath laid the odds on the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I have seen you both. Send me the stoops of wine up on that table. Now, the king drinks to Hamlet. Let's begin. And you, the judge, bear a wary eye.
It was then that King Claudius poisoned one of the cups of wine and placed them back on the table. The plan was in motion now, and as the sword of Laertes dripped poison from the tip as well, the end was all the more near.
Come, sir.
Come, my lord.
One!
No!
Judgment?
A hit, a very palpable hit.
Well, again.
Last day, give me the cup. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Give him the cup.
I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while. Come. Another hit. What say you?
A touch, I do confess it.
Our son shall win.
He's fat and scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Good, madam.
Good Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me.
Poison cup. It's too late.
I do not drink yet, madam. By and by.
Come, let me wipe thy face.
My lord, I'll hit him now.
I do not think.
Yet it is almost against my conscience.
Come for the third, Laertes. You do but dally. Pray you pass with your best violence. I'm sure you can make a wanton of me.
Say you so? Well, lay on then.
No, nothing neither way.
Heavenly.
Pardon, they're incensed.
Come again.
Oh, look to the queen there.
Oh,
They bleed on both sides. How is my lord?
who is Laertes? I'm justly undone by my treachery.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
No, no. The drink. Oh, my dear Hamlet. The drink. I am poisoned.
Villainy! Let the doors be locked! Treachery!
Here, Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. Thy treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. The foul practice has turned itself on me. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again. Thy mother's poisoned. The king's to blame!
Point and venom too? Then venom to thy word! Here! Thou incestuous, murderous, damn it, Dane, drink off this potion! Is thy union here? Follow my mother!
He is justly served. Was a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. My father's death, come not upon me. Come not upon thee.
Heaven make thee free of it. Oh, I follow thee. I am dead, Horatio. Horatio, I die. Thou livest, report me and my cause aright to the unsatisfied.
My lord, I'm more antique Roman than Dane. There is still some potion left.
Give me the cup, Horatio! Oh, I die, Horatio. If thou dost ever hold me in thy heart, draw thy breath in pain to tell my story.
Young Fortinbras, conquests come from Poland.
I cannot live to see the results from England, but I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice. The rest is silence.
Oh, now cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. May flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
Where is this sight?
What do you wish to see? If woe or shame, look no further.
This quarry cries on havoc.
Give order that these bodies high on a stage be placed in the view, and let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, of casual slaughters, deaths put on by cunning and forced cause, and in the upshoot purposes mistook fallen on the inventor's head. All this can I truly deliver?
Let us haste to hear it. Bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage, for he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royally. Take up the bodies. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss.
And so it was. With the deaths of near everyone in Castle Elsinore, brought about the return of Fortinbras as conqueror. Now jealousy, ambition, and vengeance brought forth the ruin of a once proud family. I was tasked with telling this story in Hamlet's final breaths. And so I have. Take heed, those young enough to do better. To do better. And for those old enough to be wise, be wise. Do not forget what has happened here, and do not repeat the mistakes that you have learned. And never forget just what a piece of work is a man. And so good night. And adieu. Farewell.
We're going to have a little Q&A session. If you don't want to stick around, fine. No offense, I know it's a Saturday afternoon. You probably have plenty of things to do. First of all, I want to say tonight, one of the reasons where the stage looks like this is right behind here is our set for Cheerleaders versus Aliens. We sold out last night. And it's selling pretty well the rest of the run. So if you don't have your tickets yet and you want to see it, you should get those any of the ways that you got it today. Thank you guys for being here. Where do we start? Did it make sense? That's the dangerous question, right? Let this guy know if it made sense.
Nothing he's ever written.
Luckily, Shakespeare.
That's why I just bastardized Shakespeare.
You guys have any questions?
Yeah. Anybody have any questions, thoughts, concerns?
Was Shakespeare from Wayne County?
Sometimes.
No, that really worked.
Yeah.
I mean, it really surprisingly worked very well. Wayne County.
So why the decision to have multiple Hamlets?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I can speak to that. How many lines did you say Hamlet has in this?
I think it's over 1,500 lines. A normal lead character in any show has about 200. Hamlet has 1,500, I think, in the full version.
So first of all, so we could do it. But second of all, because the way that we cut this script, it was difficult to cut because there are so many famous lines in this play, not just from Hamlet, but mostly from Hamlet, and so that all of us can have a bite of it.
Yeah, it was selfish mainly. Like ultimately, it was everybody. We wanted to make sure that everybody got a little bit of the good stuff. Not that any of it is bad, but but we wanted to make sure because we only had 7 of us that and it gave us a device to use throughout. So
Well, and when we originally talked about doing Hamlet, we thought how interesting it would be to have it from so many different people's perspective, because Hamlet goes through a lot of things. It has been famously said that Hamlet is the play about everything. And if you want to name any theme in literature ever, it's probably in here somewhere. And so with the journey that he takes, we thought, how cool would it be to let other people take parts of the journey? So that's great.
So the props made sense. It was easy to follow.
Oh, yeah.
Who's who.
Jay.
Where will your venue be? Besides Wayne County.
Oh, we have been to Chesapeake. We've been to.
I know, but where is it an auditorium? Is it a gym?
Oh, and Wayne. It's
at
Jim.
Wayne, it's the gym.
Then you're not loud enough by a long sight.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we are pretty. We've played there several times. We know. And it's not just the gym, it's the getting over top with the talking kids while we're in.
Yeah, I've been in the same kind of venue.
Playing basketball.
Yelling is good.
Last year we did, or 2 years ago we did behind the wrestling mats. So that was great too. What else do you guys have? Yeah.
I was curious why you all repositioned the tie consistently from the neck collar to the shoulder or the arm to these.
Oh, that was good.
So, do you get
What did it mean to you?
The question is, when was the first time it happened in the show?
Oh, wow.
There's a line. Akia, what's your line?
Where I say I'm going to put on an antic disposition.
Right.
So that's to let the audience know that once it comes up to the head, that's when Hamlet's doing his craziness.
To me, for the arm, it was when it became violent. It was time to become violent.
Yeah, I figured it was meant to express his bout of madness, and I was curious whether or not you all had an idea that his madness was either him performing or was it his actual, like he was actually mad?
That's a great question.
That's
We
the
had to,
question.
yeah, we had to wrestle with that throughout. I think our general consensus is that it began being put on, but then he fell into it.
Well, and we've had that question a couple times, and the question that I've asked back, do it the Socratic method, learning. I'll ask you a question back. How would you feel if your father gets murdered, you find out your uncle did it, your mom married him, and your girlfriend dumped you all in the and your dad's dead ghost came to you and said your uncle did it? I mean, how would you be? That's the question, right? So I think. So my answer to that is I still don't know that there's too much difference between a normal human and a crazed human. Like, I think we're real close there. Like, I think, and Shakespeare gets that.
Right, and it always comes back to the text. Like he talks about putting it on. Like, I mean, at the start, He says, this is what I'm gonna do. Don't you guys tell anybody that I'm doing this. This is what I'm gonna do. And from that point on, it just sort of, he loses control of it, I think, at some point, because things just keep getting worse, right? And I think
and he continually has wake-up moments. Like, he almost kills the king and then decides not to do it. Gracie's Hamlet
kills a guy he kills his girlfriend's dad, which is probably a bad thing.
Yeah, well, and then Gracie's Hamlet sees Fortinbras with 20,000 men rolling in on ships, and getting ready to roll into the country that he's supposed to be protecting. Like, and there's no indication that he and Laertes weren't friends before all this stuff started. Like, he said, you say as much.
A noble youth.
Yeah. Shot the air over and hurt my friend.
Hurt my brother.
Our brother. Yeah, you. What else you guys have? Emma.
This might just me being a little slow, and also I've gone into this blind. I've never known anything about Hamlet. But like near the beginning, it was a little bit more confusing. But as it went on, it made more sense. I don't know how to explain it.
It's the Shakespeare click.
Yeah.
You get like 10 minutes into watching any Shakespeare play,
Yeah.
and then the language starts to make a little bit more sense.
Start to get a feel for it.
But, yeah.
The conceit of having Horatio tell the story put a focus on that relationship that I haven't ever really gotten from any other version of Hamlet that I've seen.
We thought that
and
too.
I really like it.
Well, we spent time asking the question, are they actually close? Like, there are a couple lines here and there, but there's not a lot of indication otherwise, so our conceit helped form that.
In fact, Hamlet says Horatio, or I do forget myself. It's like, I almost
think-
didn't
I think
recognize
that's
you, buddy.
true.
But-
then
but-
by the end of it, he ends up clinging to Horatio as like his last friend.
And telling him to tell the story.
Right.
And even in the letter that he sends to Horatio, he's like, you're the only guy. Like, I am honest to you, and that is it. And I think, the conceit was born out of having to cut 3 hours out of the play. But it seemed natural. I had had the idea for a while to do several of the plays in a similar fashion, like have a narrator sort of get through the stuff that you had to cut and just talk about what happened. And then this is the only one that was like legitimately like works as a character in the play itself. And as we take some of these longer plays to schools and stuff that we have to cut down, I keep trying to find ways to still get the information of the play out to the people, but we don't necessarily have to stage those scenes. Or we can, like we did a little pantomime and sometimes with the stuff. And I think I thank you for saying that. I think that it does strengthen that bond between those two characters. And I think that's important. I think that if you don't have that bond by the end of the play, it doesn't matter.
I will say that I didn't lose focus. Once you said it was under 2 hours, a little under 2 hours, gonna be like.
I can do that way when we started every time.
That's how it feels. Imagine how original audiences felt.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sword fighting was great.
Mike and Jen have both trained at that extensively, and
I was nervous.
because they're husband and wife, we were like, go practice. If you stab each other, it's not that big of a deal.
Take out your.
It's just how we live.
There may or may not be a discussion every night about who's sitting on the front row.
Who do we not want to sword accidentally?
I see Blair back there.
Not me. I'm sitting right here, right where it was happening. What if you stabbed me?
Last couple questions.
Not a question, just a statement, but this scene where Nora was Ophelia and Mike was Hamlet, and Hamlet realizes that she's not honest. That was moving. That was like the turn for me where it was the despair.
Such a big betrayal.
Yeah.
Just
You could feel
right
it,
in the
and that's,
heart. Yeah.
I felt that turn there.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I've seen versions of this where people blow right through it.
Yeah.
They just make him angry the entire time, and you never get to see him have a moment. And literally at the end of To Be or Not to Be, he says, "Yeah, all my sins are going to be forgiven through her." Like that's what he says. And then, here's your stuff.
Yeah.
We're breaking up. Blair.
I like how there's so many something rotten.
Shakespeare was a big fan of something wrong.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Get pictures with whoever you love, and be back here tonight. And thank you guys for being here. It means the world to us that you came to see us today.
Thank you all so much.